Hey everyone, we're in Infinite Rails, and I kind of want to show how signals work if you're having issues getting your signals to work. I figured this out the other day and figured I would share it, as I didn't see too much information online other than the stream that kind of showed how they work. But right now, if you want to set your yellow, green, and red blocks on your tracks, this is going to be just a simple one track going in one direction. So basically this is a somewhat northbound track, just to kind of show what the signals do. These can get more complicated, and when you start adding a second track in, or a two-way one track, they can get a little bit more complicated. So what we'll do is we'll crank it up, and I'll kind of show you how they actually work. If we give it a little bit of throttle there, just enough to get it moving, I'll press E. Our train's coming back, so we should see this one turn to red, this one turn to yellow, and this one turn to green when it passes this one. So we have the green, the red, and the yellow. Now when it passes this one should turn back to green, this one should turn red. And if I give it a little bit more throttle, when it passes this one should turn back to green. Okay, that one turned back to green. Let's go ahead and stop. Put it back and forward. We'll kick the throttle back up. See, once we pass this one, it should turn red. And once we pass this one should turn yellow, this one should turn red, and there it goes. And then when it passes this one should turn yellow, this one should turn back to green, and this one will turn red. And so that's kind of what we're going for with our different signals. So what I figured out was set one signal detector to change this light to red. You need one going in the opposite direction also as a red signal. So the way this is going to take place, I'm going to go ahead and lay a track here. So if I press F, or if I hold down Q, I can go to Rails. We can run a straight line. Press F, we'll go to bumpers, and we'll just add a bumper on each end here. We press F, we can click on the signal. Now putting the signal down does nothing. It will be basically in automatic mode, but you can actually click on it, change it to manual, and change it to whatever color you want. Useful whenever you have like a rail station or whatever, and you want to put it just on yellow to say, hey, caution, no signals behind it have anything to do with it. But if you one thing I've noticed is if you have it on yellow and then you place your signals and then you go into the automatic mode and change your things here, I don't know if it's a bug or if it's intended this way, but if the train comes back over it and it clears out the signal, I've noticed it'll go back to the previous setting that you set in manual mode. I've only had it happen a couple of times, and I can't say for sure what actually caused it or when it exactly happened. So I can't say for sure if it's a bug or if it's an intended use of the manual mode. But right now, if we go to automatic mode, we'll see there's no detectors on red and yellow, so we need to set some up. So if we press F and we go to our signal detector, If you hover over the right side of the rail, you'll notice that the arrow points forward. If you point over the left side of the rail, it points backwards. Now this says when the train is going in that direction, it's going to trigger this signal. So what we want is one signal going forward, and then at the next signal, we want a signal detector coming backwards. Now, the way I have these set up here, if we click on the signal detector, we can change the name. So we'll say that this is number 1 going forward. So that means the block here, I'm considering the number 1 block. This one, I'm going to say this is the one going in reverse. So anything in this block, I want this signal to be red. So if I click on this, I can say 1, and I can click on the forward and the reverse. Now, anytime there's a train that rolls over this signal detector, it's going to change this to red. When they come through, because it hits this second one, this one cancels out the red signal. So just rolling over another, my initial thought was, well, if I have another signal detector here going in the same direction, that it would cancel this if I put that one to yellow, but it didn't. That was not the case. And that's when I figured out that there had to be one facing the opposite direction with the same color as the one that was going in the forward direction. So what happens is you need one to cancel out the original one, and it has to be facing the opposite way for this to work. So now we have another forward one. We can name this as the second block going forward, and then when we put another signal detector going the opposite way, we can name this as number 2 block going in reverse. So a train coming from this way or going this way, we want this one to go into red. But while it's in this block, we want this signal to be yellow. So we can say 2F and 2R need to make this light yellow. So moving on to the third light, we want anything, let's say in this section, this can be our third block going forward, our third block going in reverse. So anything going forward in the third block, we want this light to be red, but we also want this light to be yellow. So we can say 3, forward and reverse. Now once it passes this 1R, this one will change to yellow simply because it passed over the 2F. Once it passes over this 2R, it cancels out the 2F, and then it goes back to whatever it was previously set to, which typically will be green. So if we put down a locomotive here, oops, wrong button. Go ahead and crank up. Put it in drive, release the brake, give it some throttle. And we should see these 3 signals act the same way as these did. So we can see that one turned red. That one will turn red and yellow. And this one will turn red, yellow, and green. And then this one should turn green and yellow. Oh, that's because I don't have a signal back here turning this one yellow. So it just said as long as it's in that block, it's going to be red. So if we come back and we pass over that signal right there, the signal detector, that light will turn red. Okay, there we go. So we are within the, go ahead and turn that off. So we're within that signal detector and this signal detector, so this light will be red. And this light should be yellow. And it is. That's somewhat of how the single line detectors work. When you start getting into double line, I'm kind of working with one right now, figuring out all of the different way the signals are going to work, crossing lanes, which I'll kind of go through a different tutorial with that. But for instance, when a train is coming, say, from this direction, and they pass this signal detector, you want this light, and this light to be red. Well, not this one, sorry. This one and this one to be red. So because you're going to have a train coming through, getting onto this main line, coming through here. So you have two lights being red here, and then you want this one to be yellow, and then looking down this line, you want this one to be yellow. And then as far as with the switches coming across, not the switches, the lights coming across, you want these to do different things. So you'll have this one red, this one might be green, depending on what's down the line. And when you have a train coming this way, you want different signals to do different things. So that'll be a more complicated setup for the different lights. But for now, the simplest one is the going in one direction and then having a second line coming back the other direction with no crossways. So that'll be it for this one. If you got any questions, just put them in the comments and we'll see about getting them answered for you. So hopefully that was helpful for you. So till next time, we'll see you. Bye.